Hello, everyone. Could I ask the judges to please come forward to the front? Judges, please come to your seats. Thank you.
Should I page Frank? There he is.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Bo Bernhardt. I'm Vice President of Economic Development at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Welcome to the second annual President's Innovation Challenge. You know, it's appropriate as we look out in this gorgeous strip view pavilion at a plot of Earth that is the most visited plot of Earth on Earth. Of all of the plots of Earth on planet Earth, that could be the most visited plot of Earth on Earth, it's that plot of Earth that is there and that is drawing 42 million, upwards of 50 million in a few years, visitors every single year. And here's what's most amazing about that plot of Earth. It's not like there's a coastline there. It's not like there's a gorgeous mountain range that's drawing all of the folks there. Everything that draws more people to that plot of Earth than any other plot of Earth was invented in the brain of a Las Vegan. Think about that. The innovation, sort of nuclear explosion that burst from the minds of Las Vegans as we throw up. The thing that broke was the clicker, not the actual award, which is good. That's just the battery thing. It's right here. There we go. The harnessing of that energy, of course, is what we're here today to do. So I'm joined by my colleague and partner in launching this President's Innovation Challenge, Dr. Kate Corrigan. Please join me in welcoming Kate Corrigan. And Kate, I believe we have a question that we posed to the teams this year. Not a hard one. Not really. It's not like this isn't something that we've been trying to figure out for like 100 years. In the city of Las Vegas, solve the sustainability problem. There you go, right? We attract upwards of 50 million people here, and we did it in a desert, right? And in a place that obviously has profound needs as it pertains to sustainability. So we turned this over in the President's Innovation Challenge to a group of teams. What can you tell us about those teams and what we're doing here? Kate Corrigan.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. So, before I get to the judges, this is the second annual President's Innovation Challenge. Obviously, last year was our first event, and let me tell you, last year it seemed impossible to make this event happen, and yet it came true. And we had 16 teams competing last year, and 8 of those teams made it to the finals right here in this very room, and it was a resounding success. The students loved it, the judges were happy, the audience enjoyed the experience, and the president, most important, it's his challenge, said, let's do this again. So here we are, and thank you for joining us for this second time round of this new UNLV tradition. So what is the President's Innovation Challenge? So you probably think you came to an event, and indeed you have. We have a photo booth with a nifty 360, we have food and drinks and good company. It is an event, but really, this is an event that is at the end of a year of programming. These students this year started participating in the Innovation Challenge in September. Think about all the things you've done since September. These teams came together early in the academic year and have spent all of these months working together to come up with an innovation, an invention, something new, something different to solve some piece of the really complex sustainability puzzle. And from 20 teams, that's where we started in September, a larger group than last year, we have whittled it down. It's been painful and difficult and very competitive, but here we are today with our 6 finalist teams competing. So thank you so much for joining us and for supporting them. This isn't just an event, it's been a whole year-long commitment. So let's give a round of applause to everybody who made the year happen. And I will just say, one of the reasons this event is so important and meaningful is I really think the President's Innovation Challenge is emblematic of who we are as a university, right? It's about innovation, and UNLV is about innovation, right? This is what cutting-edge research campuses do, is we have faculty and students who ask big questions and solve problems to make the world a better place. Higher ed is innovation. So this competition really encapsulates the mission of higher education. And who better to do that than us, because we know rebels make it happen, right? We solve problems and make a difference in the world. We also collaborate all the time. And so lots of times people think about higher education and faculty and students stuck in their silos, their little disciplinary areas. But this event and so many others across the year bring folks out of those narrow academic fields of specialization and bring them together to collaborate and innovate in interdisciplinary teams. And UNLV is all about collaboration and interdisciplinarity, and you're going to see that on the stage today. It's also emblematic because this is a great opportunity to merge campus and community. And so UNLV isn't just a campus that's inward-facing. Our faculty, our students, our staff, we're always looking for ways to bridge that sometimes gap that people think between campus and the community around us. And this event does that, not just because you all are here together today, but because the solutions that these teams have come up with are impacting not just our campus, but the broader community. So for lots of reasons, we love this event, and we're grateful to you and our teams for being here and getting us here. So now let's thank our judges. Let's do some introductions first. Bo and I will do the introductions. So first, we'd like to welcome Robert Stevens, who's the Education Strategic Alliance Director for Honeywell, who is one of our sponsors this year. So a big thanks to Robert and to Honeywell.
And it's my pleasure to get to introduce one of my coworkers. Phoebe Hendarmo is the Senior Advisor for Rebel Venture Fund. Please wave to the crowd, Phoebe.
And a UNLV alum. And we'd like to welcome Dr. Kamud Acharya, President of the Desert Research Institute, our good friend and academic partner across the street.
Behind him is the incomparable Frank Woodbeck, our friend from CSN, our friend in the community. Frank, please say hello to the crowd.
And next to Frank, we have Executive Vice President and Provost, Dr. Chris Heavey. Thanks for coming back to judge again.
And never was a regential appointment more appropriate. Heather Brown has a long-standing history in this community of supporting startups. She is also a regent in the Nevada System of Higher Education. Join us in welcoming her. Thank you, Heather.
And moving over, I'd like to welcome and thank Peter Guzman, CEO of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for coming back again, Peter.
We also have the GPSA president and a PhD student in educational psychology, Nicole Thomas.
A big thank you for another returning judge, Leith Martin, Executive Director of the Troche Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, right here on UNLV's campus.
Another good friend and Rebel alum, Nadia Hansen. You may recall her as the CIO of Clark County. She now is head of digital transformation for Salesforce.
And last but not least, we have Musa Pam, our Associate Vice President for Facilities Management and Sustainability. Thank you so much for being here.
So yeah, we should probably thank the boss. That's probably a good idea. So 3 years ago, Dr. Keith Whitfield arrived on this campus, and many of you know this background. This is someone who was a brain scientist, who was a quantitative geneticist, gerontologist, superstar at Duke University, among other places where he sat on the board of Duke's famed Research Triangle Park. He brought from Duke, from Penn State, from Wayne State, from his long list of academic affiliations, this idea that we should host an innovation challenge. And he gave us, you remember this moment, Kate, he gave us some very specific and strict admonitions. Make it big, go bold, and bring something to this community that emphasizes our innovation spirit. Please join me in thanking our boss, Dr. Keith Whitfield, president of UNLV, for all of his support of this program and the campus. And as you heard, of course, last year, this was something that we launched with university funds and did so in a way that was bigger than we ever dreamed. This year, we can do so alongside just the perfect corporate partner in Honeywell. Once again, Robert, thank you so much, Honeywell, for your support. And then sort of the third leg of our support stool is the Governor's Office of Economic Development, which is also a sponsor of this showcase. Please join me in thanking our Governor's Office of Economic Development. Go, Ed. And then I believe we've got our team mentors. Our team mentors play such a crucial role in advising these teams along the way. Please join me in thanking all of the mentors, all of the faculty members, all the grad students, all the industry experts who have advised these teams throughout their arduous journey. And yes, we must thank, and again, this is one of those things at UNLV that if you're not around campus all the time, you may not know that we have this award-winning honors jazz trio. Please join me in thanking them for providing the musical background. And now, I'll turn it back over to Kate, and you'll go through the rules, right?
All right. So let me tell you just quickly what's about to happen here. So as I mentioned, we started out with 20 teams. Those teams competed through the fall semester, came up with their initial idea for how to address the sustainability question we posed to them. They had some consultations and workshops, and then we had a mid-year judging. And that first round of competition happened in December and January, and out of that, 20 teams competed. It was extremely difficult. I want to thank the judges from that mid-year competition. And now we have it down to our 6 finalists. And so since then, they've been honing their idea and polishing their presentation. They've been getting lots of consultations about entrepreneurship, about how to build businesses, and about communication. And so those 6 will compete in an iterative way right here in front of our judges. Our judges have already reviewed the materials that each team submitted, so they have a whole presentation that the judges have seen already. And today, each team will present their presentation in a pitch-like way for all of you. So short, pithy. They're not going to answer every question that you have, and that's okay, because when they're done with their short presentation, then the judges will have a chance to ask some questions, and then we'll move on to the next team. At the end of the 6, we will tally the score sheet from the judges. We'll give everyone a pause, some wonderful music. You can come take some photos, and a few minutes after that, we'll announce the big winners for the evening. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Robert Rippey, who's an alum of UNLV and the executive director of UNLV Incubator. So, Robert.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Bo. Welcome to everyone, and you've all been thanked several times, but I want to reiterate, especially to Honeywell, President Whitfield, to our judges, and to all of you. Good luck. Here's the format. You've got 7 minutes to present. I'm going to time you. If you get near the 7 minutes, I'll give you a little signal. If you go over the 7 minutes, I'll do something else. And then after that, you have 3 minutes for questions from the judges. Now, I know many of the judges had a chance to go and ask you questions beforehand if they had a specific question, but we'll allow that extra 3 minutes for them to ask questions at that. So with that, we'll start. First team can come on up. This is you, Chef. I have 3 microphones. The motto of you, Chef, is reducing food waste 1 scan at a time.
Presenting you, Chef, reducing food waste 1 scan at a time. And now it would be my pleasure to present the team. I'm Vianney Lazoya.
I'm Rick Polenic.
I'm Kristen Smith.
I'm Alistair Dias.
And my name is Ferris. Now, Vianney, could you tell us the problem?
Yes. The top 3 expenses that people have are housing, transportation, and food. And the problem is that 1/3 of that food ends up wasted and thrown away. This waste represents $200 billion that are just tossed. This equals 130 billion pounds of farm-to-landfill food that ends up releasing methane gas and fuels global warming. While all this food is being wasted, 1 in 8 Americans suffer from food insecurity. This is a major issue. Luckily, we have a solution, and that solution is
You, Chef.
And we are so confident in this solution, we are going to donate a portion of our proceeds to our local food banks. UChef stops the cycle of waste. Our easy-to-use mobile app shows consumers how to reduce waste and use their food before it expires. That ends up saving them money in their food budget and directly reduces their carbon footprint. When people are worried about how to feed themselves, they really don't care about the environment or the economy. UChef solves this problem. Using our app, this shows people how to reduce food waste by scanning in with a proprietary AI system, cataloging all the food in their pantry, and in turn allows them to benefit the environment by using this app and saving a third of their food and saving their food budget. Now, Kristen, please tell me about the idea.
Thank you. As you can see, UChef is an innovative mobile app and sustainability tool that allows you to plan meals and make recipes with food that you already have on hand, and it educates users on their personal carbon footprint. And we know that an idea like this could work because I did my own market research at a grocery store and found out that 86% of respondents would use an app just like this one. UChef is currently under business development, and you can find a full in-depth marketing plan in our written submission. UChef will be submitted to the App Store, and its basic functionality will be tested, and then UChef will be making profit through in-app purchases and product placement ads. Now let's get into the features. We will have an AI food scanner and a barcode food scanner that will scan the food that's already available in your refrigerator and in your pantry. From there, the recipe configurator will combine all the ingredients that you already have on hand and generate recipes using AI. Users can upload recipes, and celebrity chefs can recommend recipes, such as Gordon Ramsay. The expiration calculator will keep track of Best By dates and tell you when food needs to be consumed. And our sustainability and education feature will include a carbon footprint calculator, telling you what foods increase and decrease your carbon footprint, as well as telling you tips and tricks on how to recycle, compost, and conserve water. Now, Alistair, show us how this works.
I would love to, Kristen. In this portion, we're going to run through a very short demonstration of how the app actually works. So initially, when you load up the app, you'll obviously have your regular home screen. From there, you can then choose what kind of preferences you want, whether it be different types of cuisines, different type of allergies, maybe religious restrictions. And from there, it'll generate recipes based on your own preferences. Now, a key point of UChef is obviously the scan feature. Now, when you open up the scanning app, you can then put it into your fridge, and from here, it'll scan the food that you already have in there. In this specific case, it generated these kinds of recipes. Now, let's assume that we want to make sesame noodles with chicken, not an issue. From here, I can then choose what I want to make, so in this case, sesame noodles with chicken, and from here, I can then see what kind of ingredients that I need to actually produce such an item. If I start to cook the meal, it'll then show me a photo demonstration or even a video demonstration at the end. Now, what if I don't have all the ingredients? That's not an issue. Within the app itself, you can also purchase the products that you need. Now, cost is a really big thing, but within UChef, you can also organize it based on your own costs. So over here, you can organize it based on what's the most cost-effective to you. And from there, you can also order it from the app itself. A big part of UChef is also how much money you save based on using the food that you already have at your home instead of putting it to waste. So over here, you can actually see the amount that you save every single month, and it does this by comparing it to average prices at the time, or even things like grocery store prices as well. And from here, you can then organize it and see how much you save in each specific category. Now, to close off this demonstration, there are certain resources that are needed. The first and foremost is a compatible AI system, along with a machine programming language. From here, we also have a third-party system to store all the data and also user-generated content for other people to use. Another thing that will also be necessary here is the built-in calculator for carbon emission costs, along with the different types of guidelines from authorities regarding waste reduction tips as well. UChef generates revenue streams through things like in-app purchases, product placement ads, affiliate marketing, data monetization, and subscription packages in order to gain certain features for users to use. Now, upon the President's Innovation Challenge, we expect to actually launch the app in and of itself, after obviously a little bit of a development period. So we're going to need things like engineers for Android and iOS, along with product analysts, business analysts, mobile strategists, and product managers. Along with that, hiring priority will be given to UNLV alumni and UNLV students. Now, Ferris, tell us a little bit more about the social impact.
Love to, Alistair. So why is this important? Well, as of 2022, there were 2.4 million people living in Southern Nevada. And of those people, 1 in 7 homes had someone who was living with food insecurity. Looking at this map, we can see the areas of our community that have been affected by this, with the darker region showing higher numbers of food insecure individuals. UChef aims to reduce this number, simply by informing its users. Knowing when food will go bad, knowing when to rotate food out of pantries, or even knowing how to cook basic meals with even the most modest of ingredients could help families save up to 30 to 40% of their food budgets. And UChef will also teach users how to stretch their food budgets which will offset some of the pressure placed on local food banks, which has only been increasing due to recent inflation and cuts to SNAP benefits. The point we want you to leave with here today is that UChef is not just another online cookbook. It is an invaluable tool that will help families save time, money, reduce waste, and lower greenhouse gas emissions. So, are you ready to reduce your food waste one scan at a time?
Questions from the judges?
So, the expiration dates on food, you're going to basically maybe go past those dates. Those dates are probably put there by a government agency. So, do you feel comfortable going past those dates?
When it comes to fruits and vegetables, I think that's just based on your personal preference, and we'll go off of what the internet says for what is going to be like the proper expiration date. In regards to meat, we're going to use what the government has enforced and tell them, hey, this is when you should use your meat. A lot of people are not going to use food once it says that it's expired. So the system will tell you a few days in advance, tell you, hey, this is about to expire. These are the recipes that you can make within the app.
Hi, great presentation. I actually had two questions, but I will yield time for my colleagues. In your packet, you talk about simply storing food improperly, and you kind of allude to that's a problem, right? But you don't really address that. You said product placement in the ads. Is that something you guys will think about down the road, as like then giving tips and tricks on how to actually store the food once it's delivered, and then have that be a way to integrate with like other product placement? Because I feel like that's a huge next step in actually being able to save the food. And I just didn't know if that's kind of like your next phase with that.
I believe that's a huge next step for us, but also in those tips and tricks for how to conserve water, how to recycle and compost. Also, those tips could include, hey, this is how you should be storing your bananas or your avocados if you want to maintain the freshness of ingredients.
It's not a question, but I have a suggestion. You might also consider providing the calorie of that produced or cooked food,
I like it, absolutely.
I think we have time for one more.
I'm so sorry. Dr. Achara, he does bring up a good point. I think there needs to be like a food log integration, because now you're asking people every time they cook, they'll need to interact with the app to make sure that their ingredients are stayed up to date. And so if you could just integrate, not everybody tracks their food, but now if that's an option, they can get the calories, they can track their meals, they can do everything all in this app, because then that gives multiple touch points.
I kind of have a point on that, because that is something that I did take into consideration, especially as someone, like I like going to the gym, right? And I like to keep track of my calories, especially if I'm bulking or I'm, depending on how, like the gym, you have to pay attention to that type of stuff, your calorie intake, what you are taking, types of proteins and stuff. So that is something that we were thinking about, but just more down the line.
Please join me in congratulating the UChef team. Well done, guys.
All right, I'm going to invite Team 9 up, Well Spa Tech, bringing health and wellness to a property near you.
Hi everyone, we are WellSpa Tech and we are extremely excited to share with you our concept for sustainable well-being. Imagine you are arriving late to your perfect vacation, and after boisterous children in a late plane, all you're looking forward to is the spa, but the concierge informs you it closed 3 hours ago. They tell you they can squeeze you in tomorrow but warn you of the flu outbreak and everyone sneezing. So now you're like, oh my goodness. So you go with a sigh, you head up to your room, only to find a parking lot view. These experiences ruin our well-being, our vacations, and the planet. The built environment is responsible for 40% of global carbon emissions, with the hospitality industry making up 1% of that. This equates to 363 million tons of CO2. That's enough energy to power 45.7 billion homes for a year. So now we have a growing hospitality industry, not enough technicians to staff the spaces, and a hospitality industry with a high carbon footprint. We're here to fix that. We're WellSpa Tech. My name's Natalie, and I'm joined with Daphne and Shuri. And WellSpa Tech aims to provide wellness for all, anywhere, anytime, featuring our technician-free, customizable micro spa experience. Our plan is to take underutilized spaces, like that hotel room next to the ice maker, and turn it into a high-revenue, carbon-neutral space. Our micro spa experience features a fully guest customizable space with a variety of autonomous well-being solutions, all within an embodied carbon-neutral environment. This increases revenue with 24/7 usability and addresses all three branches of sustainability. Environmentally, we are going to locally source materials with a high percentage of recycled materials that are both water and energy efficient. Economically, we are eliminating labor costs and maximizing underutilized spaces with 24/7 usability. And finally, socially, we are creating single and multi-user spaces that use welcoming architecture to produce spaces that are holistically wellness with cultural considerations.
And this is where the innovation that is WellSpa Tech comes in. We will start off by transforming these underutilized and undesirable rooms into something beneficial, groundbreaking, and glamorous. We'll begin with the process, starting off with distilling the space of any existing furniture, fixtures, or equipment. Following this, we will address space concerns. Adding things like a double stud wall will add mass and an air gap to help reduce the amount of sounds coming into the room. We will also specify acoustic materials like wool, felt, and cork that will help to absorb sounds that are coming in and out of the room. We will also be implementing brown noise through a speaker system, which will help to serve as a positive distraction from outside noises coming in, and as well as proven to help improve levels of relaxation and concentration. Following this, we will be implementing these groundbreaking technologies. On the left, we have the zero gravity chair. This chair is able to help reduce levels of pain, muscle pain, and joint pain, and is also helpful to increase blood circulation by simply reclining your body at certain angles. We also have the sonic immersion table on the right, which is featured in our very own Blackfire innovation. This table provides you with vibrations and binaural sounds, which are able to help relax the mind and body. Following this, we will be customizing these groundbreaking equipments architecturally to help best fit the client. After this, we will be defining the entry sequence. By providing a welcoming AI experience, we will be helping the customer, the guest through the space as well as the equipment. We will also be touching on the 5 basic senses with things like aroma and sound selections, as well as a bottomless water feature, which helps to reduce the amount of plastic water bottles in hospitality. Finally, we will be specifying sustainable furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Using things like sunlight harvesting fixtures, renewable materials, as well as Honeywell's healthy building system will help to improve our levels of sustainability, as well as help to show us where we can improve on sustainability. And now we have Cherie, Tennessee, to help us with the business structure.
So we've discussed both the sustainability and the innovation. Now let's explore the actual business model. So why wellness when we look at hospitality? Wellness generates $7 trillion globally and $22 billion here in the US, making it the largest market. So who is the wellness consumer? They range in age between 22 and 65. Women make up the bulk at 70%. The average guest spend is $104.50, and they are looking to reduce stress, improve sleep, and improve overall health. Though there has been an increased demand in wellness, there has been a steady decline over the last 10 years in the number of therapists available to provide those services. WellSpa Tech can fill that gap with sustainable, autonomous wellness experiences. Our consumers are actually hotels, thinking about the 150 that are on the Strip and the 127,000 worldwide. That equates to about 17.5 million guest rooms, with the leaders being Wyndham, Marriott, and Hilton. Thinking, hotels charge an average of $300 per night. WellSpa Tech would charge $300 per hour. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, double the typical hotel spa. This is a multi-use experience with a custom design, high-tech, low-touch, with the intention of lowering labor and build-out cost. It's a wellness experience for all, anywhere, anytime. So let's talk about our service offerings. First, we have consultation. So we will match sustainable technology with locations and market-specific opportunities. We have design, so the team can adapt autonomous spa architectures, templates to suit various room sizes and brand standards. And last, management. We can facilitate operations remotely, collecting royalties from the locations after installation. Think of the concept of a snack machine, but for the spa industry. Instead of snacks, guests will be able to have wellness experiences. Let's look at our revenue stream. Year one starts with the collaboration of Blackfire Innovation in building out one of the hotel rooms and building brand awareness as well as partnerships. Year two, expanding those partnerships with the goal of 12 locations locally. Year three, expanding to 24 locations regionally and scaling the business nationally. Year four, an estimated 48 locations and looking at growth in health facilities as well as residential buildings. And year five, with the goal of 100 locations in the US, expanding globally, understanding there are tens of millions of dollars in revenue available. In closing, WellSpa Tech addresses the environmental, economic, and social aspects of sustainability with cutting-edge innovation and design, all while increasing revenue for underutilized hospitality spaces, allowing all to have a wellness experience anywhere, anytime. We hope that you will join us on this exciting journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can attest, Cherie, the sonic massage table is a life changer. The idea of getting a massage with the sonic technology from underneath as the masseuse gives you the massage, I want one. I would like one, please, if I could. Yeah, I want to make that happen. Questions from our judges. Nadia Hansen.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I enjoyed your presentation. So you mentioned your target audience is resorts and lodging.
Yes.
I travel a lot. And so I'm curious, as part of your go-to-market strategy, would you consider looking at airports, maybe like a pop-up sort of place for people who have long flights? Harry Reid is a perfect partnership example of that. So I'm just curious, do you see yourself partnering with airports as well?
Yes, when we were looking at the various healthcare locations as well as residential buildings, I was just in Portland a couple of weeks ago and they have an independent pod there. So we did say, we want to really partner with the hotels on the Strip. As a part of the Las Vegas Association, I know firsthand that they are short on massage therapists. So we want to be able to really support the hotels first, see how that ramps up, and then we can look at other spaces in addition. Thank you.
I have two quick questions. One is, what do you think it will cost to build out one of these rooms, and what do you expect the lifespan of the equipment to be? And two is, do you see an angle in this of now it seems like many people are more reticent to interact with others, and that it might be a attraction of being able to do this without actually having to interact with another human?
So to answer your first question about costs, the interior design of an average hotel room ranges between $100,000 and $1 million, depending on the level of elegance. We're estimating that we'll be just slightly over that average at about $500,000 per room, just given the fact that we are doing renovation, new equipment, and so on, and the customization of that equipment. So we're planning to be just about on target, but slightly over, knowing that we're producing $300 an hour opposed to $300 a day, so that revenue will be made up very quickly. In terms of your second question about lifespan, a lot of these technologies are very new and upcoming, so I can't answer that to the fullest extent because they're still learning as well. So part of this is learning with them how to improve their carbon footprint, how to improve the lifespan of their equipment, and also how to make their equipment recyclable. A huge part of sustainability in the built environment is making it deconstructible as well as constructible, so that these big steel beams, I can use them again at another hotel. So helping them learn that on their scale as well.
As far as being able to interact together, it's a multi-use space, so two girlfriends can go in. If we land in Las Vegas and we're here for a bridal party, you can get on the zero gravity table, I can get on the sonic immersion table. So there is an option to be able to share those experiences together. We are in the age of loneliness, so we did consider that it's not just a solo use, that you can have multiple users in the room at the same time.
Two things. One, kudos on working in the Honeywell. That was not lost on me, and I know it was not lost on him. One of the things that I find interesting is that sometimes when you put together a business model and you're asking your customer to do something to do business with you, it makes it more difficult. So one of the things I find interesting about your opportunity is you might be the operator. In other words, you kind of presented it as such that you might turn it over to, you would sell the equipment, you would set it up, and they would run it. There's a pretty good chance you're going to be the operator. Yes. And so when you consider the business models, some might want to operate themselves. But if you say, what is the number one reason a hotel or a resort will do business with you? The number one value proposition?
We're going to utilize underutilized spaces and bring revenue in.
That's the number, right? Great.
Yes.
Perfect.
Good answer.
All right.
Well
Thanks,
done.
Team WellSpa.
One more round of applause.
You need another hand. All right, the next team, Local Cup. Save a cup, grow the meadows.
Good evening, everyone. How many of you guys are familiar with Starbucks? Everyone? Yeah. So let me let you guys know what Starbucks is doing. By the year 2025, Starbucks has announced that they are going to fully invest their company into reusable cups for all of their customers. They intend to reduce their carbon footprint. By doing so, they are going to ensure that their entire business model is all about reusability, right? Reusability is probably one of the most overlooked processes or components of recycling today. But sorry, this doesn't just ring true for like cups and coffee, but it rings true to every industry, hospitality, tourism, and those are two industries that are essential to the heart of Las Vegas, right? And to the economy of Las Vegas. Las Vegas itself produces annually more waste than any other city in the country. They produce about 5 billion pounds to be exact. Just this past New Year's Day, Las Vegas announced that probably about 12 tons of trash was left on the Las Vegas Strip. Out of that 12 tons, most of it was probably disposable waste. Sorry. What we don't realize is that one of the biggest contributors of that waste is disposable cups. National fast food chains like McDonald's produce about 37.7 million tons of disposable waste a year. There are about 6 out of 110 locations of McDonald's locations on the Las Vegas Strip alone. Imagine how many of those locations contributed to that 12 tons of traffic. That's where we come in. We are Local Cup, where our motto is save a cup, grow the meadows. My name is Justice.
And my name is Gabby Weaver.
And now Gabby is going to explain in more detail how our solution works.
Imagine a cleaner and more sustainable city. That is Las Vegas's focus to provide a convenient and sustainable solution to disposable cup waste in Las Vegas. To do that, we have composed a 3-component phase or system that includes biodegradable cup, a reverse recycle vending, and a mobile application. The biodegradable plastic cups will be sold via reverse recycle vending machine and a mobile application. Customers can purchase a reusable cup at a participating location, and the cup will be engraved with a QR code for customers to download the mobile application that they can retrieve discounts for the cup when they return their cup to the vending machine. The application will also include a reward tracking feature where customers will be able to see the discounts with participating locations. To prove our concept, we plan to partner with the bar chain Parkway Tavern with a target demographic of 25 to 35. We believe this customer base will contribute most to climate change and make a sustainable effort to do so. The ease of access of the locations and convenience of the mobile application also connect directly to the customer base, not to mention the purchase incentives with the beverage discounts. And now, Justice will explain the economic and social impacts of our solution and bring our presentation to a close.
As Gabby mentioned, our solution will impact the city of Las Vegas both economically and socially. First, economically, it will help local establishments cut costs by reducing the purchase of disposable cups. It will also help them grow their customer base by adding sustainable products and eventually grow their revenue. Participating locations can also receive tax deductions for being more sustainable and have potential partnerships with local cup that are endless. As we partner with local businesses, we plan to expand the network and create a community of businesses that are committed to not only sustainability in Las Vegas, but potentially across the country. In addition to reducing that waste, our solution will also help create jobs in the city of Las Vegas, as we need people to manage the vending machines, the IT infrastructure of the application, and the logistics. This will also combat the high unemployment rates in the city that were risen through the pandemic. Socially, Local Cup has the potential to contribute to keeping streets cleaner, especially on major tourist holidays like New Year's. This will alleviate the pressure of overtime work for public workers. We also will promote recycling and reusability in a convenient and secure way. And finally, we will connect the hospitality and tourism industries to sustainability. Our plan to scale this business has already begun. We have completed phase 1, which includes our research and understanding the demand. We're ready to move forward with phase 2, which includes connecting our cup with vending machine manufacturers for production. From there, we will move to complete stages 3 through 5, which include our pre-launch, test market partnerships, gaining that feedback from those partners and customers to make any revisions to the product or business model that we need, and then going forward, full-scale launching the cup to the entire city. In conclusion, becoming a leader in tourism sustainability is crucial for the future of our city and our planet. By providing convenient and effective solution to disposable cup waste in Las Vegas, Local Cup can help reduce our impact on the environment while also creating jobs and promoting local businesses. We urge you to consider saving a cup to help grow the meadows, or Las Vegas as we call it. Again, we are Local Cup, and thank you for your attention.
Outstanding. Local Cup, local heroes. Questions from our judges. I think Phoebe has one.
So with the app, is it like a vital part of the business? I just feel like it's an extra step for customers to like download an app only to say, okay, I got the cup, because I feel like the cup itself can just be the indicator that like, hey, I can get the discount. again, it's like an extra step that might like turn them off?
I would say that the app is a very vital part of the whole system because we're going to have multiple vending machines throughout the city. So then users will be able to download the app, be able to see the locations of the apps within the city, and then go to the closest one that's available to them.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
In addition to that, the customers also need to know where these incentives are, right? Not every location or not every fast food restaurant is gonna say, we're gonna give you a discount for having this cup. So the app will let them know, hey, I can go to this location or that location and I'll receive a discount here. It's not, I mean, hopefully we can scale it to everyone, but initially they need to know where they can receive these discounts. They can't just walk in and say, I have this cup, give me a discount.
Okay, I have a follow-up question. What is the price of the cup and what is the discount that they may potentially get?
So we settled on a price point of $19.99. Starbucks sells their reusable cups right now for $29.99. So we decided to go with $19.99, and then also hopefully those discounts will be about $1 to $2 off their drinks. When you add that up over the time of like a vacation or someone visiting, that almost eliminates the price of the cup completely.
Okay, thank you.
2 quick questions. One, what's the connection between your Parkway Tavern test and your distribution through vending machines? That's one. Secondly, no, go ahead with that one.
Sorry. So the reason why we chose Parkway Tavern is because of the customer base. A lot of locals go there initially. For us to launch this, we need to put it in the face of locals, and our demographic is 21 to 35, and so we just chose Parkway Tavern as part of that because of their customer base as well.
Okay. What's the lifespan of the cup?
So with Starbucks right now, we know that their cups have a lifetime warranty on their reusability. That information isn't out there as far as the entire lifespan of the cup, but we know that it can have years of usage as long as you properly clean it, as long as you don't, right, normal wear and tear on things. But most of the time, it's probably going to be a lifetime span. I would say maybe 5 years, and then you want to recycle it. But I mean, 5 years for $19.99 in discounts, right? You can't beat that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? I think you're off the hot seat. Congratulations. Well done, Local Cup.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Team 5, Lutum Potentia. Got that right. Helping your waste problems fly away.
Each person in this room throws about 1.3 pounds of food in the trash each day. You might have even thrown that much away this afternoon. And it all adds up to about 80 billion pounds, or 30 to 40% of the nation's food supply each year. Most of it ending up in landfills. Once it enters the landfills, the nutrients from the food never return to the soil. It rots and produces methane, a greenhouse gas 25 times as potent as CO2 at trapping heat in the atmosphere. And Nevada is leading the charge as we rank 4th in the nation in food waste production. Now, this urgent problem needs an immediate answer. And it may seem obvious, why can't we just compost this food? But most food can't be composted. Dairy, oils, fats, meat and seafood, acidic foods, baked goods, or anything that has touched these foods cannot be composted. And organizing the food waste to accommodate these restrictions is both time-consuming and challenging. So what can we do? Lutum Potentia has the answer.
I'm Noel Penjalone.
I'm Angie.
I'm Andres.
I'm Ryder.
I'm Scott, and together we're
Lutum Potentia.
The solution is black soldier flies. They are a non-invasive species of fly native to the southern United States. And while they may look like a regular fly, something is very special about them. Their larvae can eat up to 2 times their body mass in a single day. That's the equivalent of a human eating 1,400 hot dogs. What's amazing about these larvae is that they're able to consume even non-compostable food waste and turn it into something beneficial for the environment. The excrement of the larvae, known as black soldier fly frass, can be used as a fantastic fertilizer. And the larvae themselves are very high in protein and nutrients when consumed. Ludum Potential will utilize the power of the black soldier fly by creating a facility where we will farm these larvae, feeding them non-compostable food waste that would have otherwise ended up in a landfill. We will dry and sell the larvae as livestock feed and sell their frass as fertilizer. This way, we're not only reducing food waste, but we're also transforming it into a product that will benefit the environment.
Unlike traditional landfills, black soldier flies are odor-free, meaning they do not emit any greenhouse gases such as methane. They're also non-toxic, they don't pollute natural habitats or contaminate ecosystems, and leading to a safe and clean environment. Once they reach the maturity stage and become flies, they won't eat again, and in fact, they don't even have functioning mouths at that point, so they're non-transmissible for diseases. Another great benefit for black soldier flies is that they compost all organic waste, including raw or rotting meat. At the end of the day, they create a multi-purpose end product that's great for livestock or for fertilizer.
Now you may ask, with proof of concept, is this idea actually feasible? We found out and did some research, and we learned that Texas A&M University has worked with Professor John Tomberlin, who is the director of EVO Conversion Systems LLC. Together, they've created a successful black soldier fly composting facility. They use black soldier fly larvae to compost organic and non-organic foods, such as meats, eggs, dairy, etc. After that, they sell the larvae as fertilizer as well as livestock feed. Project Forward in Indonesia does exactly the same. It is also important to mention that we have no competition in the BSF facility market in Nevada. Given the successfulness of these facilities, we can see that this idea is actually feasible.
We consider Ludum Potentia to be a multi-sided platform business model as we connect the nutrients back to the environment. For our pilot project, we'll negotiate a contract with UNLV Aramark to obtain their food waste at $6.50 per load, which is 19% lower than what UNLV currently pays, creating a business-to-business relationship for our raw materials. With that, we'll produce dried black soldier fly larvae as our business-to-consumer product, generating a double-sided revenue and allowing us to project an annual profit of $153,000. Now, with this profit, we'll continue to develop UNLV's current community gardens, as well as create our own in food deserts across the valley.
Now, you may be asking, how does all this work? So once the food waste reaches our facility, we begin the pre-process phase. Through that phase, we separate any hazardous or non-organic components of the food for the balanced diet of the larvae itself. Next is the consumption. It takes nearly 10 to 22 days for the larvae to eradicate all the food. Then, as mentioned before by Angie, they eat twice as much as their weight daily. Next, we will utilize some of them for reproduction. Then, most of them will be utilized for harvest, packaging, in order to gain profit for Ludum Potentia itself. In 1 month's time, we are turning non-compostable food into high-protein fertilizer and feed, where 1 pound equates to nearly 20 pounds of food waste gone.
Now let's talk about the timeline. For our initial startup phase, which is 0 to 6 months, we'll focus on the creation of our facility. We also plan to launch our pilot program at UNLV at this time. Between 6 months and 1 year, we hope to establish strong partnerships with our suppliers and build strong relationships with our customers. After a year, our goal will shift to prioritize community enrichment. We want to create community gardens using our fertilizer created from our facilities. During this time, we'll also hire and train full-time staff in preparation for expansion. From there on out, we will scale. Potential customers and location include Aramark universities and smaller casinos like the Red Rock Casino, Suncoast Casino, and the South Point Casino. Continuous improvement will always be on our minds, and future research and development will be a priority.
Now, with all this said, you may ask, what regulations do we need in the first place? Well, our team actually met with the Southern Nevada Health District, and they pointed us to chapters 2 to 4 of their regulations. Those entail having a financial insurance plan for the company, as well as a 500 to 1,000 feet buffer zone from the facility itself to ensure that there's no harm to the public or general safety. We also learned for an initial pilot project at UNLV, SNHD would have no regulations for us. From there, we will adhere to further UNLV regulations and work closely with the Environmental Science Department on campus to scale our project.
Lastly, in regards to competition, Ludum Potential will be the only black soldier fly facility within the West Coast itself. Listed are 3 of the local Nevada livestock and composting facilities and organizations. However, we bring product differentiation through our black soldier flies.
Although some may say the fly larvae aren't the most aesthetic solution to food waste, we find it beautiful to bring the nutrients back to the environment. Like our name means in Latin, we bring the power to the soil. If you want to see our flies in action, they're right over in the corner. But otherwise, thank you so much.
Ludum potentia. Questions from our judges?
Good afternoon. Fascinating concept. I guess my question is, how do you plan to harvest the flies? It seems like you need a lot of damn flies, as well as the reproduction plan to make sure that you have enough flies.
So this process will be much mirrored like that of Indonesia, in which we have to kind of fertilize and create the climate that is needed for the flies. It is encouraged to be at 70% humidity and at a temperature of nearly 40 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now with that said, with harvesting, in the way in which you compose your little facility, they actually crawl out and through a pipeline themselves, and then they will fall into a different bucket or container in which they will dry out by themselves. And those at 1 month span that turn into a black soldier fly, we will utilize them for the reproduction in order to gain profit through all the flies. Because as you can see, that's 1 pound, and that's a pretty big box. Yeah. So it's nearly a 1 month span. They eat up to 25 days in which they start to brown. Once they brown, that indicates that they are ready to transition. Then after that, they have nearly 20 days of being a fly itself. Considering that they do not have a mouth, they just live on until they pass away.
As you scale the business, how do you make sure that this is like, because this consumes a lot of energy for you to have that specific temperature and humidity, so how do you make sure that it doesn't become environmentally unfriendly because of the energy that it consumes? Yeah, that was my question.
There's a lot of different options in terms of renewable energy. We love the idea of solar, and we even looked into an idea of another type of composting that creates gas that can be used to kind of repurpose for the energy we needed here. We haven't exactly figured out which one specifically, but we're gonna source our energy, we're gonna source it reusably.
So I didn't hear anything about any usage of water in your facility. Does your facility use any water whatsoever?
We use the water to keep the space humid, and that's how the flies kind of drink, sort of say. They don't drink, but they take it through the humidity, and that's how they drink, I guess.
So then have you put into the equation your cost of water for this facility?
We have our material costs, which is around, we expect a couple thousand a month, and that's where we have our water cost in.
Thank you. In the video that you referenced in the Indonesia facility, it appeared to me watching it that it was quite labor intensive. How do you intend to automate this process?
Well, each box is retailed at nearly $15 to $20 on sale. Considering the compound annual
which microphone is mine. You'll have to pass a biology quiz before you leave the building. All right, continuing on. Let me get my list. No wonder. There you go. All right, next team. Scarlet Team 2, Scarlet in green, putting a scarlet twist on sustainability.
So it's some wonderful food over there on that table, and if Mary and I don't eat all the coconut shrimp by the time we leave, there's going to inevitably be a lot of food waste over there. And unfortunately, where is it going to go? It's likely going to go to the landfill or maybe composted. What we're trying to solve here is both the supply side and the consumer side. How do we have a lot of hungry people and a lot of wasted food? My name is Zach. This is Annie, Mary, Jacob, and Miguel, and we are positing Scarlet Greens, an innovative solution to not only food waste, but also to food insecurity. And like we said, we're putting a Scarlet twist, or UNLV twist, on sustainability. So just for a little bit of context, 13 properties on the Las Vegas Strip create about 160,000 pounds of food waste per day. And while a lot of that can be diverted, it's not diverted to hungry mouths. And at the same time, there's 15% of the Las Vegas Valley that's food insecure. And that's about 340,000 people, which is about the same number of children that go to CCSD schools. So it's a major problem that deserves major recognition. So I'm going to pass it off to Mary to actually talk about our solution.
Our solution is to create a mobile application to divert excess food from businesses to customers. We call it Scarlet Greens. Essentially, think of it as a dating app for food, where we connect those who have access food for free or a discounted price to those who need food. And unlike real dating apps, this will hopefully have more positive outcomes. Scarlet Green is going to roll out into 3 phases. The first phase that will last a year and will be focused around diverting access food generated at the main UNLV campus to UNLV students. This will also allow us to really develop the app until we launch it into phase 2 that will hopefully last for 6 months and will now incorporate the community surrounding UNLV and allow us to work directly with restaurants at a lower stake. Until we reach phase 3, that will then include the Las Vegas Valley, with the ultimate and profound goal of diverting excess food generated on the Strip and in restaurants within the Las Vegas community. And now I will hand it off to Annie, who will give us a run-through of the app interface.
We're going to use a scenario to demonstrate how this app, Scarlet Greens, will work. Our President Whitfield, has been giving an address at the student union, except everybody was so enamored that they forgot to go back for seconds. And so now we have 14 trays of fruit. And so this is where our model customer, Jacob, will come in. He's walking by the student union, and he's going to get a push notification on his phone indicating that there's leftover food, which he'll go over using the directions, and there's also going to be a time limit for when he can pick up that food. Moving on to phase 2, we are going to introduce a Groupon-like interface where restaurants can list their food for free. Here, we're also going to have the same things with directions as well as a time limit for what to pick up. Moving on to phase 3, we're going to give the restaurants the option to list their food for free or for a discount. And so our idea here is that more restaurants will participate because we're going to give them a way to make profit off of food that they would have otherwise wasted. Here we have the same things here with price, time pickup, as well as directions on where to go. Now I'll pass it off to Jacob to talk about our customer discovery.
To further develop the idea behind Scarlet Greens, we've met with many organizations that directly relate to food insecurity. Through these meetings, we've learned about the costs and challenges of diverting leftover food. Additionally, we learned that Airmark, which is a large catering company that works closely with UNLV, is willing to work with us as we launch Scarlet Greens. And we aren't the only organization in Las Vegas to try to tackle food insecurity. Organizations such as 3 Square and the UNLV Food Pantry function mainly as distribution hubs and rely on donations from grocery stores and individuals, but not much from restaurants. There's also other apps around the world similar to ours that have proven to be successful, but none are available here in Las Vegas. Scarlet Greens, Scarlet Greens, what's different about Scarlet Greens compared to the current market efforts is that we will help connect users to surplus food from events and restaurants as soon as the food becomes available. And in the future, we'll integrate a food delivery system. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Annie to talk about legal and regulatory concerns.
So our next question is, how are we going to keep all of our food fresh and safe for our customers? We want users to be aware of the risks that do come with picking up less than fresh food. However, we also will be implementing a strict time limit so that the food does get picked up before it goes to waste. As we scale up beyond phase 3, Jacob was talking about a delivery mechanism. We want to start off with non-refrigerated foods, and as we scale up, we're going to start having perishable foods. All of this will be handled by food installation trucks, vacuum sealing, freezer technology, as well as refrigeration. Our idea here is that more casinos will want to work with us because we'll be absorbing the cost of food distribution rather than them. And I will pass it off to Miguel to talk about our funding.
Now, we recognize that there's a need to generate funding in order to maintain our platform. So we plan to begin with government grants and partner with local businesses in order to build up our customer base. And then once we move on to phase 3, when businesses are allowed to sell excess food that would otherwise be thrown away, we will take a 5% fee in order to maintain the platform. In terms of economic and social benefit, we are going to have a point system that will award businesses for participating in the application and donating food. And the more you donate, the higher you get, which is a great marketing tool for local businesses. We'll be bringing people out of food insecurity all throughout the valley and then driving sales once we hit phase 3, where businesses are allowed to sell for a discount and eventually create jobs by employing people with Scarlet Greens. And we don't just expect you to hand us $25,000. We have a plan for exactly what we want to use that for. It's in four different categories: app development, physical infrastructure, marketing and networking to build up our customer base, and then cybersecurity to protect consumers on our platform. We are confident that we are the interdisciplinary team to make this happen, and with your investment, we can improve quality of life for thousands of people here in Clark County. In the meantime, please finish all of your leftovers and help us reach our goal of zero food waste. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to your questions.
Scarlet Greens. Questions?
Thank you for that presentation. Do you view this as a nonprofit or a for-profit company?
I can take that. Yes, we plan to have this be a nonprofit organization, but we understand that there's a need to bring in some sort of funding to maintain the application. So like I said, in the first 2 phases, we'll use government grants and partner with local businesses. Going from there, we'll take a small fee off of what businesses would otherwise have thrown away and use that to maintain the platform. But yes, we will maintain our status as a nonprofit organization all throughout.
A question for you and a note of caution. When you get to food insecure people, how do they get the app? How does that communication occur between your company and those who are food insecure, your service and food insecure individuals? I can understand the folks who are on campus. When you get to phase 2 and phase 3, how does that occur?
I think in our early discussions, we also talked about partnering with SNAP, and hopefully as people who are in the SNAP programs, we can start marketing to them and letting them know what is aware. And we also kind of implemented like a separate portal for SNAP recipients so that they can receive food at like a even more discounted price.
And then I would say additionally, part of our $25,000 budget goes directly towards marketing and networking so that we can build up that customer base, spread the word, so that we can get people using our platform, and hopefully it'll expand from there.
Yeah, and last thing, Grubhub and Uber Eats didn't necessarily start overnight, and a lot of that came with restaurant and business partnership. And ideally, the goal of our platform is to provide an opportunity for businesses to solicit this opportunity and this application to its regular consumers so that they can both indulge in the foods that they regularly enjoy, but also sort of have access to this platform through that opportunity, and hopefully we're mitigating some of the internal marketing costs as well.
Okay. Just in full disclosure, I serve on the board of 3 Square. Now, when you're capturing food from strip hotels, food that's coming from their lines or whatever, there's a liability there, and it is expensive to capture that food and make sure that it's safe and gets to those who are food insecure. So I advise you to look at that phase 3 very, very carefully before you make a move on it.
Can I comment on that real quick? I would say we did meet with Southern Nevada Health District, and we learned that the food wouldn't necessarily be coming off the line, but I'm sure there's tons of other food that's back of house that doesn't even get sent out, that's the food we would be working with and taking from hotel strip properties in specific.
Do you expect any economic impacts for restaurants in the local ecosystem? So, for example, in the student union, those restaurants might be impacted by what you're doing and might then be reluctant to provide the food?
Yes, absolutely. We recognize that there is a slight hesitancy potentially, but ultimately, a lot of this food waste is food that's going to be thrown away. It's food that would never even go out to the public. So if we're able to offer that and users are aware through the application when they initially sign up that there's a slight risk because it's less than fresh food, we would hope that businesses would be less hesitant. And then there's that piece where you get awarded. There's a point system, so businesses can use that as a marketing tool. We're increasing philanthropy throughout Clark County.
And then I also want to add, I hope we're not decreasing the value of the food, because the food that's on the app is kind of unpredictable. So it's only available whenever the restaurants have it available. And so I think people would still be willing to pay their orange chicken at Panda Express at like 12 p.m. because they're hungry, they need to eat. And so I think no value will be taken away from the restaurants.
Scarlet and Greens, one more round of applause.
All right, team number 6, EcoVision, a look into a greener and more economical future.
Looking for our slides here.
Yeah. All right. Hello. Today, we wanted to talk about a problem that affects all of us, and that's low participation in recycling. So 9% of plastics produced are recycled globally. In the United States, only 32.5% of our waste is recycled. Lastly, in Southern Nevada, we have set a benchmark goal of a 25% recycling rate. Despite Nevada setting this goal in 1991, we have never achieved this target. 50% of consumers are confused about what can and cannot be recycled, and this leads to contamination in the recycling stream. In Nevada, our contamination rate stands at 30% compared to the 17% national average. This is a huge problem on our environment and our economy. The contamination stream costs the global economy $80 to $120 billion a year. And in the US, it's estimated to be around $500 million a year. The lack of participation in recycling is rooted in the lack of awareness and the lack of understanding surrounding proper recycling practices. So how do we put a stop to the contamination stream? More importantly, how do we change people's behaviors so they A, recycle correctly, and B, regularly? Hi, we are EcoVision. My name is Haley.
My name is Daniel.
My name is Mariam. And today, we're here to show you all what a look into a greener and more economical future would look like. So that was just a taste of what our solution can do. The EcoVision app will solve the lack of participation in recycling by incentivizing and educating users through the process of gamification, competition, and rewards. By offering users points and prizes, we plan to create proper recycling habits. The EcoVision app will target all of the trash cans here at UNLV. And organizations, institutions will be able to pay a fee with EcoVision and have all of their trash cans outfitted with our QR codes. We plan on offering a sustainable alternative to throwing away plastic. Next is Daniel, who will explain our app.
As Haley mentioned, organizations can place EcoVision QR codes on their recycling bins and trash cans. This turns them into EcoVision bins. Users can scan any one of these QR codes to begin registering and start playing. First, scan a water bottle and the app automatically The app automatically tracks your activity and rewards you with points based on your recycling habits. There's a leaderboard available where you can compete with family and friends or even larger institutions and resorts for grand prizes. There's a special reward available if you can take a picture of a full bin. This sends a notification to our clients that the bin is full and needs to be recycled. Shifting gears and looking at the market, in Nevada, 259.4 million tons of municipal waste was created, and of that, 94.2 million tons was recycled. That's a potential 198 million tons of recycling waste that EcoVision could target. Looking worldwide, there is an estimated 3.4 billion tons per year generated worldwide that is an opportunity for EcoVision to make an impact on the global recycling economy. Next, Miriam's going to discuss the market outlook.
Thank you, Daniel. So EcoVision offers a unique competitive advantage over others in the waste management industry. Companies like Big Belly Solar Management, iRecycle offer efficient waste systems, but they don't address the cause of the problem, which is lack of motivation and knowledge to recycle. So in terms of the market entry, we plan on targeting our first client, which is the UNLV Recycling Center, who already has more than 150 recycling bins on campus already. And our goal will be to continue working with Tara Pike, the local recycling manager, in order to make sure that we are promoting positive recycling behaviors, engaging with the campus community, with students who care about recycling, and making sure that we are able to spread the word on how to recycle the best. And we also plan on partnering with Campus Race to Zero Waste to make sure that we participate in the 8-week competition held annually. And we want to make sure that UNLV is competing with UNR to make sure that our students are up there when it comes to the rewards and points in recycling. In terms of sponsorships, 90% of executives believe that green efforts are important. And 60% of companies believe that sustainability efforts they have those in place. And we want to make sure that we're targeting these types of companies and making sure that we are working with them in hopes of them working with our company and making sure that they are planning all the recycling points and everything.
Right. EcoVision is committed to making a positive impact on our environment, and we plan on donating a portion of our profits to sustainability charities. As far as regulatory concerns go, we plan on partnering with the National Institute of Standards and Technology, as well as the Environmental Protection Agency.
As far as our startup funding, EcoVision immediately qualifies for a variety of grants. As you can see on the screen, we would immediately apply for Vegas Chambers Empowerment Grant, Workforce Connections One-Stop Operator Grant, UNLV's Small Business Innovation Research, Small Business Technology Transfer Program, and Governor's Office of Economic Development Catalyst Fund. By partnering with UNLV's Technology Transfer Program, they shall provide us guidance and resources to protect our intellectual protection. Looking at the growth opportunities for this market, the global waste market is expected to increase to 530 million by the next year, the year 2026. Our app plans to expand out to the Las Vegas Strip and to all of its resorts and institutions, which will allow their users an opportunity to recycle as well. These resorts will provide discounts and loyalty points that encourage their guests to recycle.
So as our user base grows, we want to make sure that we cover our initial costs as well. So in terms of our initial costs, we plan on spending that money on the development of the app, hiring talent, and marketing. Our graph here shows that by 2024, we plan on making 141K by 2024 and 244K by 2025. In terms of our future design, we will also make sure that we have in-app advertising, premium features, and we are making sure that we are updating our EcoVision app by including artificial intelligence and constantly updating it.
With the help of grants and funding, we are confident that we can make a positive impact on the environment and heighten low participation in recycling. All right. And thank you all for your attention. We hope that you understand now that a look into a greener and more economical future starts with a simple scan and a plastic water bottle. With that being said, we'd like to invite everyone here to scan our QR code and become a player of EcoVision. Thank you. just like Daniel.
I'm running late because I was just scanning that. Peter Guzman.
Very nice. Thank you. Two questions. I'm going to ask the same question again. Do you guys view yourself as a nonprofit or a real business for profit?
This is absolutely a for-profit business. As you can see, this is a lot of work to get the app developed, to get some partners, to get some sponsorships. So we agree that we definitely want to make positive impact in the environment, but there also needs to be a profit incentive to get everybody, on the same team and making this work, right?
Thank you. And my second question, I'm going to sound real old, but are apps still popular? Because we've seen a lot of apps today. Are people still doing apps? Young people still going to apps?
Yes, absolutely. And our goal is definitely to make sure that we're targeting those that are most likely to recycle. So considering that the youth are always on their phones and are always downloading apps, it's really important for us to cater to that audience and make sure that they're the ones that are taking part in this. Students, anyone who's in the youth, but this isn't just exclusive, right? Anyone who has a phone, a lot of the people who came up to our table were also taking picture of the QR code, and they are able to access these types of things and be able to participate in gaining rewards as well. So anyone can participate, anyone who cares about the world and the environment.
I'll make a comment really quick on the app. Currently in our form, we are not operating in an app. There's nothing to download. All you have to do is scan the QR code and it works. So when you're done here, you can go and scan and see if it works on your phone.
All right, thank you for your presentation. So I have a question about your tech stack, because you mentioned AI. So generative AI is so popular, like ChatGPT right now. Do you see yourself or your app competing with or leveraging emerging technologies like ChatGPT for the personalization aspect of it, so you can give the rewards based on the persona that you're going after?
Thank you for your question, Nadia. So basically, there's a feature in our MVP where you can look at a part of it where it says feedback, and it's supposed to be an interactive section, basically. So in regards to your question, we plan on leveraging AI and making sure that we're able to keep our app up to date and make sure that we're covering all our bases so that the users have the best experience.
As far as technology is concerned, we like the QR code right now because it's really simple and easy and it works. We know that we want to go towards AI, taking pictures, no QR codes, no nothing. So that is coming for sure.
Yeah. Right now, QR codes are everywhere, so it's just easier to start off that way.
Yes, so I like the portion where you said you will be donating a portion of your profits to sustainability related projects for nonprofits. So first thing I want to say is we have not-for-profit status as a university, and we're embarking on a sustainability journey. So I'd like to lay claim to your first allocation of profits.
We can talk more after. Absolutely.
The question is, have you considered as part of your analysis the adoption rates related to the app question, the adoption rates for these types of sort of behavior modification endeavors?
Yeah, I'm sorry, wait, can you repeat the last part again?
So adoption rates, so you're going to deploy QR codes, and there's a certain adoption rate that you should expect people to...
Sure. And this is why we're starting with the university. We think the youth are really the ones that are going to change the future and going to be more apt to literally do this, right? And that's where we think the way is to go. Start getting students involved, and then if you see other people doing it, oh, what are they doing? That might be cool,
Yeah, so students are the future. Again, Nadia mentioned ChatGPT is really huge right now, AI in general, so that's why we're making an app. It's AI tech is taking over, and what makes our app so original is that we're adding all of these components: gamification, incentives, rewards. Kids our age already are already doing things like that. For example, in the health app industry, gamification is taking that by storm, and we're translating that for recycling and sustainability.
Please join me in congratulating the EcoVision team.
So now is time for the scoring. If the judges will complete the score sheets, we will collect them. We will be announcing the winners tonight, the first, second, and third place. So how long do we give? No? 10 minutes. So enjoy some more food, some more beverage, and we will be back in 10 minutes. Oh, yes, and you're free to visit the students' tables. The student teams will be at their tables if you want to ask questions.
See that how they all have a number on it? And then don't ever lay them up here because if they fall off, they're very expensive. That's why we have this down here. You were making me a little nervous. And then this one is, these three we have, this is for the judge to pass around. That's why it has a J on it. Yeah, and then the other one needs to stay up here. J is, all of these are the same, but this one we, it's the different for it. All right, thank you.
If we could ask you all to return to your seats. We have some winners and we have some announcements. Please return to your seats.
All right, so we have some information that you might just want to know. And how many of you want to know? All right. Before we announce the winners, we just want to take one more moment to say some special thank yous. Again, to President Whitfield for beginning this august and wonderful tradition. Our terrific sponsors, Honeywell and the Governor's Office of Economic Development. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a group of folks who so far have been a little bit invisible here, but have been so critical to these teams and their success to making it to the stage today, and that is our faculty and community mentors. So if we have any mentors in the room, please stand up. Each team had at least one mentor. Woo! And you made it possible. Thank you so much. A big thank you to the Strip View Room team, our caterers, our bartender, everyone who shared their space with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And please be sure to eat and drink before you leave. And then I want to thank, of course, the President's Innovationers. We like to call it the PIC team. I want to especially give a shout out to two people who make this happen literally week in and week out for 8 or 9 months at a time, and then they prep all summer, and that is Nevena Svechek, where is she? And Dr. Robert Rippey, right there with Nev. And of course, my colleague and friend, Bo. And of course, no event happens without a ton of volunteers, so quick shout out and stand up if you're in the room. Most of them are probably in the hallway. Kindia Suvana, Alyssa Gardner, Jessica Soria, Angus Sinnell, Sue DeBella, Vinay Darakjian, Edith Alvarez, Carlina Pablo, Danielle Head, Dustin Davis, Andres Rodriguez Lombeda, and Christy Correa. All of these folks helped during the year and today, so thank you again for making this possible. All right, we've drawn this out enough. I think maybe we can do a drum roll, and then Bo will announce our winners.
We have several. Their arms are going to get tired. So in third place, this team wins a $10,000 award, and each of them receive a $750 scholarship. Congratulations, Scarlet and Green. Up. We're going to have a photo shoot afterwards, so please hang out. In second place, congratulations. In second place, now each of these individuals receive a $1,000 scholarship, and their team receives $15,000 to launch their program. Please join me in congratulating you, Chef. Hold on, team, hop on up. You can come straight up, yes. And our winners. These individuals receive a $1,500 scholarship and a $25,000 grand prize, Ludum Potentia. Will President Whitfield please join us for the presentation of the check? President Whitfield, will you please join us for the photo shot here?
Hello, everyone. Not bad. You know you've seen this show before.
They very wisely didn't let me speak. They got to take and have all the fun. You guys never let me have any fun. But one of our special guests here today has added some additional fun to our event. In addition to the $25,000 prize, the Latin Chamber is going to add an additional $5,000 to that prize. And I just want to say, this is the power of these kinds of events, but that power does not happen in isolation. Just like the teams don't happen, and those ideas don't happen in isolation. They happen because we're partners. We share. We figure out a shared goal and a vision and work together. The Latin Chamber has always been that for UNLV. And here's just another example. And we have to thank Peter Guzman for that incredible gift and his incredible support of our university and for our community. Thank you, Peter.
All right, congratulations and thank you again to our winners. I can't wait to see what you go on and do. And it's really wonderful because they'll be going on to do what they do in association with UNLV through our incubator, through Blackfire. So their journey with UNLV as they walk down this innovation path is really just beginning. So once again, thank you to all of our judges and everyone who made today possible. And I realize that there is a name missing in my thank you list. And it's especially egregious because it's the person who really made this whole event, food, drink, the 360 photos, everything possible, and that's Marlena Gatlin. So congratulations and thank you to Marlena for making this possible. I'm sorry for the faux pas. And thanks again to our judges. Enjoy the food, enjoy the drink, and best of luck to all of our teams. I hope if you didn't win today, you continue undeterred. So take care, congratulations, and thank you.